everyone, this is Jessi with mylifeasjessio and welcome to my channel. Today we're doing Jessi's little garden where I'm going to be propagating these beautiful hydrangeas. Alright, if you don't know what propagating is, that means you cut off a piece of an existing plant and then you essentially clone it by then planting it again, and it should look similar to the one that you took the cuttings from. So I took these cuttings, I don't know, maybe 3 days ago. I should have put them directly into soil when I cut them because it was just after a rain. They were full of moisture and they were ready to go, and they had little green buds growing that have now turned a bit brown. But you know, I still have hope for this, so we're gonna go ahead and try, and then maybe later today I'll take some fresh cutting, or maybe next week because it's supposed to rain again. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get into it. All right, let's pull this out. Here are my cuttings. I took 2. So as you can see, we have a woodier piece and then we have the softwood, and there's different nodes. Nodes are just where the leaves or roots will typically grow from. So what we need to do is cut right below a node at a 45-degree angle, and then we need to make sure there's still a node above for it to grow. So I think the first thing that we're gonna do, I just have these handy little scissors that I got. And I had been using just like regular household scissors, but I found it very difficult to do a nice clean cut from plants. These definitely do a better job. They're dishwasher safe, so you can keep them clean. It's important not to transfer bacteria to these fresh cuttings. So grab yourself some of these. They're not very expensive. I'll put a link down below and you can pick some up or order some. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this softwood piece off. Still hard. Oh, there we go. So there's the softwood piece and here's the hardwood piece. You can see where I cut it off, but that's really good. Hi, Oliver. So leaf node is right here where the leaves are coming out. So I'm gonna cut right below that at an angle. All right, I did it. And then we pull off these leaves. Okay. Good. And then we actually do need to go ahead and cut the flower. Bye, flower. Cut the flower. She's still cute. I could set that in some water. She'll live for a little while. And then we have these left. We'll go ahead and take these 2 off. And then we have these 2 here, and we're just going to snip them just a little bit more than a halfway down. So again, be careful with your fingers, and you see a little bit more than halfway. Just go ahead and cut right across. We leave a little bit on so that it can capture some of the light, because remember, photosynthesis, it needs these leaves to capture the light so that it can put energy into growing roots and then more leaves. But these will fall off eventually once it's gotten enough energy and it's ready for new pretty leaves. So go ahead and repeat that process. This one is a lot bigger. As you can see, we have a nice woody stem here, and then we have some soft growth from this season that have sprouted from several different places actually. So I'm going to go ahead and cut right below this node here. You see that node there? I'm going to cut right below it a little bit closer. And then maybe we'll just cut right here as well and get a couple of cuttings out of this. Well, I think we're just gonna have to scratch this up because I can't cut it. We'll scratch it up, which is actually good to do as well. So it's gonna be ready to grow some roots. Great, that's good. So see, I just removed that bark off of the bottom. And then I think we're gonna go ahead and remove these branches, these soft wood branches, should be easier to cut. So go ahead and cut that. I'm gonna go ahead and cut off this other softwood cutting. So we took this off as well. So we're getting down to this hardwood piece. And there's one more here. You can take that off. Okay. And so now, let's see. Take this off as well. We still have some leaves up here, although they look a little bit sad. I'm gonna leave some of them so that they can help with photosynthesis, but this is pretty dry, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off. See, that's very moist, and then we get dry up here. I'm not sure if that's still going to grow. I mean, we could try. Let me cut right below a node. See, there's a node right there. I cut right below it. Okay, done. Okay, so this I think is a good cutting. I think it's really good. I think it's gonna grow a lot. We have a lot of different places for it to grow. It's gonna fit down in there beautifully. Okay, so I'll put that in the water. Another softwood cutting. We have some nodes right here, little baby nodes, so let's go ahead and cut underneath those. Perfect. We'll take the leaves off. And I don't know if you guys are really familiar with hydrangeas, but I was introduced to them by my grandmother, my mama, who has now passed. She passed right before the pandemic. She always had beautiful hydrangeas in her yard. I loved it and admired it, but I never had a place to plant my own until now. And so one of the things that I really wanted to do was to propagate her hydrangeas, but she lives too far away to just, pop over and get a cutting. So I took a cutting from one that I was walking past the other day, and I think that this will suffice for now, but whenever we get back up to her home, if the hydrangeas are still there and alive and well, then I'll definitely take a cutting. I also have been looking for plants that grow well in the shade, and I found out this week that these grow really well in shady conditions. So I think it's a win-win-win situation. All right below that node. Or maybe we should do this node. We'll do right below this node. And anyway, every time I look at them, it reminds me of my mama, which is a wonderful thing. And I was actually named after her, so very, very wonderful thing. So what we're going to do is propagate these in her memory and add some really beautiful flowers to the garden. If it doesn't bloom this season, then hopefully by next season. And that will be really, really wonderful. Any flowers that maybe your grandmother has or anyone has that you have always admired, just, take some sharp scissors. I'll link these below or something similar to it. And just go take some cuttings, and you can watch this video again to remind you to cut it right below the node. Let's see how many cuttings we have gotten from, I just took 2, remember? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, potentially 5 new plants that we're going to get out of these cuttings. These are the remnants. The remnants. Okay, so I only have 4 prepared here, so I'll get another one later, but let's go ahead and plant the 5. So, they're reduce, reuse, recycle. So I had some plastic around that I was going to recycle, and then I was like, you know what? What's better than recycling? Reusing it first. So I went ahead and cut these water bottles in half. As you can see, I just cut them in half. And so we're going to put the plant in the bottom here, and we're going to turn this one upside down too. What we need to do with these is take our scissors. Actually, I'm going to go get a different pair of scissors and cut some slits in the bottom so that there are some drainage holes. As you can see with the top, it already has a built-in drainage where you were drinking. So that's great. And then we're just going to store them in this other big bottle container. You can use like any gallon container that you have, any big plastic container. And then you see I cut it in half, and then we'll just put the top back on. You might have to tape it, or there, voila. And it creates kind of a little greenhouse effect, and they can just live in there. And then the beauty of this is, since these are clear, you can actually see if the roots are developing or not. It'll take probably 6 weeks before you can see anything. But it's a really great way, something that you probably have laying around. You can reuse it instead of going out and buying things, and just have fun propagating beautiful things that you see around, giving it more extended life. So let me go grab the scissors, and then we're gonna put the soil that I have here into these and get these planted. All right, I found the scissors. And let's go ahead and cut some holes out of the bottom here. So it's just gonna be like a little tiny slit. I'll come a little bit closer. Just gonna cut like a little slit off the side there. See? Just a little tiny slit. And we'll do it also on the other side. Okay, perfect. Do it to this one as well. There's some water in there. Side, just do a little slit, and another little slit. Okay, perfect. This is just seed starting potting mix. So we are trying to get these to root, so that's going to be great. So I didn't bring my gloves this time, so I think I'm just gonna scoop it up if that works. Do you guys remember your favorite flowers that you would see at your, or that you do see at your grandmother's house? I remember she also had tomato plants. So I have bought tomato seeds, but I have not planted them yet. I have a lot of rabbits and squirrels, so I haven't quite figured out how to plant tomatoes without them being disturbed by those yet. But if I figure that out, I definitely want to plant some. I wish that I had taken more time learning from my grandmother on how to garden and take care of things, because when she was here, I didn't really have the time nor the place to grow anything. So I just admired her, but I didn't really spend time in the garden with her doing anything. But now, life's different. You can work from home. You have a lot more time on our hands, less traveling. It's just a different time, and now she's gone, so, but it's okay. We'll be all right. Set that aside. So I have my 4 in here. We have the seed starting potting soil, and then we're going to start sticking these. So I also have Take Root, a rooting hormone that I'm going to add. It's supposed to really boost the growth of the roots. I'll go ahead and put a link in the description box so you can pick up some of this too, as well as the soil. I'll do that as well. This is really great stuff. It just gives your cuttings what they need to be successful and just shoot up out of the ground. So I think I'm gonna pour some in here just so we don't contaminate everything. So there, I put a little bit of powder in there. It's just a white powder. See? And let's take a cutting. This one looks good, it's nice and wet. And then just going to stick it in there and make sure it covers the bottom where we had cut right below the node, because that's really where we're going to see the growth. Let me see, do I need to cover the node above as well? Probably not. So got that nice and covered. See, it's covered in all of that rooting hormone. And then I'm just going to take one of these containers and push it right down in there. Boop. And then that's that. I mean, how easy is that? How cute, look at it. Okay, we're gonna do that 3 more times. Take this one, or we can do a woody one. Let's grab a woody one. And we're just gonna roll it around in the rooting hormone that's in here. Roll it around really good. Get it all over. I feel like gardening is kind of like baking, and it's like a very strong mathematical kind of chemical reaction between different natural things that create something that we enjoy. And it's really interesting, you know, if you think about it, everything that we eat starts out, or a lot of things that we eat starts out like this, and then you mix it together into a tasty concoction that we then enjoy at the table. I don't think you can eat hydrangeas, but you know what I mean. So there you go. We got that one in there. Beautiful. Let's do another one. So I tried to grow okra earlier this season, and it was getting a pretty good size from seed. And then I got a gnat infestation from some bad soil, and they just completely destroyed the soil and the okra. So that's another thing that I want to grow. You can sow directly into the soil in June, but again, I have like moles and rabbits and things, so just trying to figure out how to keep those out of my okra so that I can actually grow some. Are you guys growing anything this season? I'd love to know. Let me know down below. If you have any questions, we can do some research together. I can let you know any tips or tricks that I've picked up. So we've got another one. You see it's covered in the good stuff, and we're gonna stick it right on in here. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, and then we have one more to go. Let's do this big one, because why not? You know what? I just realized this one doesn't have leaves on it, so it might not grow. I might get rid of that one. But this one has leaves on it. It's pretty much like, it's like powdered sugar, but don't eat it. It's for plants, not people. See? Covered in that powdered sugar for plants, not people. And let's grab our little bottle, and we're gonna stick it right down in there. Some dirt might fall out. There we go. Yep, some dirt fell out. Perfect, beautiful, it's ready to go. Stick it back into this container. And now this one, I think I'm going to replace this one with the one with the leaves. Or I could put both of them in here together and see what happens. What do you guys think? Let's put them in here together, why not? I noticed that sometimes when you let flowers and plants grow together, like I know they usually say to separate them and give them room, they must get energy from each other, because I feel like ones that are growing really close to each other tend to grow faster and stronger. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but it's like they like company. I'm gonna do a whole nother video about research that I've done on plants and their reaction to like music and you talking to them and like touching them and stuff. There's a whole lot of theories, experiments around that I find very fascinating. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and stick this one in here with the one that doesn't have leaves, and we'll see, will they both survive? Okay. So we've got everything cut and ready to go. I have some extra stuff, I'm just gonna pour it out on my little tray here. It has like all the waste. I don't wanna make a mess. Okay, so now that everything is ready, I think we're gonna go ahead and add some water to these lovelies. So I have a glass of water here. I'm just going to pour it generously. We really want it to become tight and really support these cuttings. Oops, I'm making a mess. Let me put it on this. Making a big mess. A big mess. It's on the ground even. On the carpet. Don't be messy like me. Okay, so let me go ahead and finish pouring the water on all of these. Remember, we cut the slits in the bottom where I already had the hole, so we don't have to worry about overwatering. It will drain. So let's see. See? It's dripping through, so I know that that got fully watered, which is great. Oh, this one's dripping as well. Position it in the middle more. Perfect. These two are looking good. These are the ones that we put slits in the bottom. Ooh. That went well. It is working. And now it's standing in a pool of water, which is okay. I mean, it's not ideal, but it is okay. That way it can be kind of self-watering in a sense. When it needs some more, there's already some in here. So I'm gonna leave it alone for now. And then we have the lid. And let's see if we can get it on here. Some of these are tall. Oh, that really tall one. I'm gonna have to push it up through there. Tuck them all in. Oh my gosh, you guys! I think that worked. It worked. It worked! So we made a little greenhouse by recycling materials that we already had around the house. And we're also using an existing plant instead of going out and buying another one. And we're just going to nourish these and let them grow. Really, at this point, there's nothing else you need to do. I'm gonna stick a lid on this bottle to keep the air in so that it can really create the greenhouse effect. And I'll probably put some tape around the seam here so it can really be kind of sealed in there. If a little air gets in there, it's fine. It just needs to retain most of the moisture. And I really won't have to touch this for like 6 weeks. They will be happy, they will grow. Of course, I need to either leave this inside next to a bright window or put it outside where it gets some sun. I think that I will put it outside where I'm planning to have them grow anyways, and they can go ahead and get used to the temperature and the sun and everything in that area. That is it. I hope that you guys feel equipped to go and do some propagations this summer. This is a lot of fun. Again, if there is a flower at your grandmother's house or anyone's a place that you've always admired and you want something that you can keep and always remember them for, because remember, hydrangea is a perennial, so we'll keep coming back every single year, and it blooms. I know it's blooming right now. It might bloom several times during the year. They're absolutely beautiful plants. These are pink ones, and I know that there are blue ones, and there's other ways you can like change the pH or the soil to get different colors, but they're absolutely beautiful. You can do this with hydrangeas or really any plant that you like. And that's all from Gardening with Jessi today. Thank you guys so much. I love you. Bye.